Hello, everyone. The tech world is changing at the speed of knots, and it's not easy to keep up pace with it. That's where you have our channel, which helps you stay updated with all the happenings in the tech world. Today, we are going to talk about why Starlink is opposing the much-talked 5G plan. Keep watching as we dissect it. Elon Musk somehow always manages to be in the top headlines. It is either him starting a company that makes rockets and spacecraft, almost buying Twitter, investing in crypto, later dumping the majority of his bitcoins, and the latest is that one of his companies, Starlink, opposing the hyped 5G plan. It came as a surprise that the company that claims to be trying to make fast internet available to as many people as possible is against the expansion of the 5G plan. Why, you may ask? It is more complex than you think and involves a lot of technicalities. We will try to break it down for you, so stay with us. Elon some time back said, Starlink is not a threat to 5G or terrestrial fiber, but at the moment it seems Starlink is endangered by 5G. The scenario paints Starlink and Elon as a villain who is trying to stop a progressive plan. But things are not as simple as they seeming look in this case. The situation involves not only the government but also other internet providers. The most prominent of them is the Dish network. To get to the bottom of this issue, you need to understand how 5G internet works, what makes Starlink different, and why opening up a certain frequency band can be a problem for Starlink. So first, let's talk about how does 5G work. 5G is the fifth-generation mobile network and a new global wireless standard after 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G. It is designed to deliver multi-GBps data speed, ultra-low latency, massive network capacity, and availability of a uniform user experience to all users. Experts believe that 5G has the capacity to connect virtually everyone with everything, including devices, objects, and machines. The premium performance and efficiency have the potential to connect new industries as well. 5G is based on orthogonal frequency division, multiplexing, also known as OFDM. It is a method to modulate digital signals across several other channels to decrease interference. In addition to OFDM, 5G also uses a 5GNR air interface and bandwidth technologies such as sub-6 GHz and millimeter waves. The 5G OFDM operates on the same principles as 4G LTE, but the 5GNR air interface enhances OFDM to increase flexibility and scalability. This provides 5G access to more people and things who can use it for a variety of reasons. 5G also has plans to expand the usage of spectrum resources to bring wider bandwidth. It includes sub-3 GHz that is used in 4G to 100 GHz, which will enable 5G to use both lower bands, sub-6 GHz for example, as well as millimeter waves such as 24 GHz. Here is the map showing the availability of Starlink in different parts of the world. It covers most of Europe and countries such as Australia, Chile, and Brazil, and of course the United States. Until Starlink's debut, fiber internet was the most advanced broadband internet. It was delivered to the clients via small cables made up of small and flexible glass strands. Fiber is still used by millions of clients and offers lighting speeds that are up to 1 GB per second. It is because the glass strand uses light pulses to transmit data back and forth, rather than electricity, which is used in traditional cables. However, the cable which made the fiber so fast is also the reason for its potential downfall. It restricts the availability of fiber internet to remote areas, and it also carries the risk of sharks nibbling on the undersea fiber optics cables and affecting the world's internet access. And this is where Starlink cashed in. Starlink uses a small satellite dish that sets up the connection with more than 2,000 satellites that are orbiting around the world. This eliminates the requirement of cable and opens access to fast internet in parts of the world that are still using 2G. Another interesting and unique thing about the Starlink constellation is that all of its satellites are within the low Earth orbit, which is only 300 miles above the Earth's surface. This is in contrast to traditional internet satellites, which are about 22,000 miles above the Earth. Starlink's waves have to travel fewer distances, which improves its speed and makes the connection more reliable. Now all of this should make one understand that Starlink is in competition with fiber cable networks. It is not trying to compete with terrestrial 5G services, which were described in the previous section. And so far, Starlink has been quite successful in its mission, despite significantly higher costs and delays in product delivery. This is where Dish Network comes in and things start to get a little more complex. See, the Starlink constellation consists of a couple of thousand satellites, but like the 5G internet, it requires a spectrum to transmit the information. As long as that spectrum is free of interference, Starlink can provide optimal services to its users. As of now, Starlink and some other users have exclusive rights over the 12 GHz band. The limited traffic ensures that channels remain free of interference and provide reliable internet to the users. Dish Network, on the other hand, has proposed to FCC to open the 12 GHz for terrestrial 5G use. It means that 5G internet providers can access this band to improve their speed and offer a better experience to their users. For Starlink, it could lead to an influx of interference from 5G internet, which can hinder the signal transmission and slow down the speed for their users. Hence, SpaceX is trying to stop the authorities from opening the 12 GHz band, whereas Dish Network is lobbying for the exact opposite. Both sides have released documents to support their theories. Let's dive a bit deep into this controversy. So, what is the SpaceX version? SpaceX has conducted a study that shows that Starlink customers can get 80% of interference if 12 GHz are opened up for 5G. David Goldman, Senior Director of Satellite Policy at SpaceX, stated during a presser. Essentially, the band would become unusable. He further added, it would potentially end services for customers. Starlink has also sent out a letter to FCC arguing that 12 GHz for 5G would produce interference 77% of the time for the users relying on that band. Starlink users will experience internet outages, which can decrease the company's user base. Starlink also argues that the lack of public support for Dish means the expansion of the spectrum is not necessary. We haven't seen anything from either Dish or Dell where they have been able to get any customers to file in support of their services, said Goldman. He further went out to say this is about lining their pockets with new spectrum rights at the expense of people who currently use the band. Dish Network's 5G for 12 GHz coalition's version. In response to the letter and the statement issued by SpaceX, Dish, RS Access, and a few other companies that are part of a group known as 5G for 12 GHz Coalition, also issued a response. They argued that SpaceX has sent a manipulated filing to the authorities about the interference that Starlink customers would experience. This tactic, which is commonly used by Elon Musk, is not only disingenuous, but it promulgates an anti-5G narrative that is harmful to American consumers who deserve greater competition, connectivity options, and innovation. Statement issued by Coalition in The Verge. The coalition has also come up with its own study, which concludes that it is feasible for 5G and Starlink to coexist in the band. In an ex-parte filing, RS Access claims that their study finds that 5 operations would have no effect on at least 99.85% of NGSO operations in the 12 Hz band. It is because satellite operator SpaceX still has availability of multiple downlink spectrum. So, who is right? Well, both the parties have sent their reports to the FCC, so it is up to them to decide which one is right. However, what is clear is that Starlink stands to lose a lot if the coalition is able to lobby in favor of the band opening. Even if SpaceX's claims about interference are exaggerated, it does not deny the fact there will be interference in the network. Let's wait and see how it all plays out. That's all we have on this news. If you would like to keep yourself updated with tech news with in-depth analysis, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. See you next time.